A very toxic court. I was very angry my ex that cheated on me with her new man looked at me as a dirty mechanic. But a discovery of something more opened up a more promising twist for me. I'm 32, and I can't hold this in any longer, so here it goes. This has been on my heart for several months after parting ways with my husband. I have dedicated myself completely to my work as a mechanic for the past 10 years, a career I took up immediately after graduating from a technical school. I learned at a good shop in town, but no longer work there for reasons we'll discuss a little further down the line. My training started when I was 16, working in my uncle's garage. After being certified, I soon realized being a mechanic was more than changing oil. Cars in the world today are complex machines. They are knowledge and expertise-based. General labor work that, in addition to being honest fucking work, enables me to sustain myself and pursue my true passion. I met Sarah, an alias, and the only one I'll use to protect her privacy. When she brought her car in for service, we started seeing each other about 7 years ago. In hindsight, in that first meeting, I see already the first dispositions of what she really was. More women talking, non-stop about her car, which she insisted was a luxury car and deserved special treatment. I thought she was too cool for school at first, but she smiled and I was smitten. Sarah was employed at a highfalutin marketing company and even dressed in the fanciest of suits with bags that I wouldn't be able to tell you the name of. Here I was feeling blessed that someone her caliber would have time for me, even if all I did was come home every day with greasy hands. As we started dating, my feeling about her changed. At first, she was really interested in what I did, asked intelligent questions about the cars I fixed. At times, she'd surprise me with lunch at the shop, and my coworkers joked that I had a fancy girlfriend. I thought she was different from most corporate types, who generally think they are above the blue-collar working man. Despite we came from different worlds, I had the feeling that we had some sort of a relationship. Sarah always used to comment on my strong work ethic and my dedication to following my dream. 2 years after we started dating, we were married in a ceremony for which she and I split the cost, although most of it was paid for by her parents. At first, her dad, a wealthy man in the real estate industry, seemed to appreciate my choice of a career and was even willing to be a co-signer for the loan on a house I'd personally saved for before we got married. This is what hard work got me, and that humble 3-bedroom, 2-bath home proved it. Sarah had acted enthusiastic about our new place at first, but I began to pick up on her little digs that insinuated this was just a pit stop. Suggestions of a better neighborhood, or reference to our home as a starter house, made me feel that my hard work was not being given enough credit, and it was clear Sarah was not at ease with my occupation. At office soirees, she announced me as a small business owner in the automotive industry, which was technically accurate in the future, but felt like a euphemistic apology for my status as a wrench. My sister Jenny never liked Sarah from the get-go, coming into my shop frequently with all kinds of doubts about her character. But I shrugged off that warning, not realizing that pushback was simply a sister's protective instinct. The first year of our marriage went by relatively uneventfully, but as Sarah moved forward in her career, I felt as if I was getting less of her in return. When she climbed a rung on the ladder of success, she turned into an insufferable snob. She started trying to rub in her success, boasting to me of expensive client dinners and consistently bringing up a colleague, Mark, who had helped her in her career. One night, the point of no return came when Sarah came home late with a new dress. When I asked her about it, she brushed off my curiosity, saying it was for an emergency client meeting that had come up. And she began to make comments about my house and my job that were more pointed around this time. At dinner, she had told her father that we had already invested in real estate, and that I was holding her back from all of her potential. And slowly, I became conscious of the weight of their scorn about my profession. I had finally given up hope during one of her work parties that summer when I caught sight of Sarah standing too close to Mark. I looked over, and seeing their startled faces when they saw me, felt my suspicions rise. I didn't want to be the jealous husband. so I instead just kept an eye on what she was doing. I saw patterns. Every Thursday she was working late, but her car was frequently not at the office after hours. My suspicions grew as I found discrepancies in our combined finances. On credit card statements, I discovered charges from restaurants I'd never heard of, usually for two people. Sarah would wave off my questions, saying they were work-related. Then one day, we received an envelope from a posh jewelry store containing a gift receipt for a men's watch. My birthday was months away, and Sarah had previously said that jewelry was not for a mechanic. When I brought these inconsistencies to the attention of, she claimed I was just insecure and controlling. Every time that I have mentioned being concerned, she rolls her eyes at me and tells me that I am paranoid. I found myself more and more estranged from the woman I married. My assumptions proved true when one of Sarah's co-workers, a woman named Amy, stopped by my shop for an oil change. When she said that everyone in the office knew that Sarah and Mark were going out for lunch, I made a little comment to infer that Sarah must have told everyone, including her co-workers, that we were separated. It was like someone had punched me in the guts when I finally saw my life for what it was. Every good moment was stained with betrayal. I began collecting evidence I knew the marriage was beyond saving, but I was not about to be steamrolled. With the help of a police officer friend, I noted dates, times, and suspicious transactions. I expanded my evidence file to show an intentional pattern of untruthfulness. As all of the divorce came about, Sarah's family tried to paint me as the bad guy, saying I put my hands on her and held her back. I was too busy working, taking business classes and honing my skills to notice what she was up to at night. The worst of the lot came when I found out that Sarah had emptied our shared savings account to the extent we had just enough to pay the bills because she was investing in our future. That's when I decided to hire a lawyer. I liked my lawyer's take on my case. He told me to continue as usual while he got the paperwork ready. It was tough to play along, though, when Sarah was still lying to me about where she was. The cream of the crop was one Thursday when my neighbor up and told me that Sarah had brought a man back home with her. When I got home, it was Sarah and Mark in our kitchen. She looked shocked and furious when I told her to take her daughters and leave my house. Her dad and brother both turned up and tried to impose, but I stood my ground, gathering it all on film as evidence. I shamed Sarah on social media, saying I had evidence of her cheating, and when police came, they knew my only trade is honesty. There was a mess. Sarah left, and I went for the divorce. The resulting court battle showcased just how devious Sarah was. Her family tried to gangster me, thinking they could make the terms unfair and force me to give up what was mine. But my lawyer was unerring in his advice. I did not have to do what ACO asked. The court hearings became a free-for-all with Sarah trying to fabricate a pack of lies about her role in my business. What they didn't know was that I had already secretly purchased the shop several months before Sarah and I had started experiencing marital troubles. In court, my lawyer presented evidence that my business was profitable, growing, and that blew her front. I won the case, and the judge awarded the house and the business to me alone. Sarah's left with some transitional assistance and nothing else. After the trial, it was a shitstorm cause Sarah was trying to save face, and Dad's baby attempts to undermine me failed. And we had an element of lightheartedness. We weren't above a bit of a wind-up. So the business thrived and earned respect in the community. I expanded, hired talented mechanics, and opened a second location. Sarah, having her affair with him revealed publicly, was meanwhile left humiliated and stripped of her profession. Despite Sarah's attempts to reach out to me to try and discuss her regrets, I stuck to my choice to no longer have contact. My sister encouraged me to write a book about it, but for now, I am simply content to still run a successful business, loving what I do, working on cars. Of course, I pride myself on them, and no, I don't plan on becoming society's drone. Success is the sweetest revenge. That means I am successful doing what I am passionate about and proving myself in my own eyes and the eyes of the world.